Oh Lord, pull up in that '04, pedal to the metal, says she wanna hit the floor more.
You know what? If you go by the past, when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith is in trouble. I'm just saying. Hey, first, subscribe to Atlanta Sports Unlimited for the greatest coverage of Atlanta sports teams right here on this YouTube channel, and we're sponsored by Prize Picks. Don't want to miss this fantasy game. You can pick 2 to 5 players, various sports, go over or under to win big time. ASU, put in that promotion code, ASU as in Atlanta Sports Unlimited. And my book, right here, Red Brick Magic, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, Miami University's Cradle of Coaches. I went to Miami University, and I will send this book for you personally right here. RedBrickMagic.com. It's getting a lot of play. It's already got 5 stars on Amazon. And my other book, The Real Hank Aaron, TheRealHankAaron.com. You can still get that book too. You can have me sign it. This is why I would say, logically, I mean, Arthur Smith is in trouble. I mean, have you seen him play lately? This is his 3rd year, okay? Right now they're 4-6. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games, 3 in a row, and brutal. And they just lost to the 1-8 Arizona Cardinals on Sunday with a quarterback hadn't played in a year. They had 70 yards, 70 yards passing the entire game, half of which came in the 4th quarter. It's ugly. Okay, and remember 2 games ago they got beat by a rookie quarterback starting in the first NFL starts, throwing 4 touchdown passes against them. Then they lost last week to another guy who just jumps off the plane. Josh Dobbs with the Minnesota Vikings gets in there and just runs all over. I mean, it's been ugly. All right, but if you go by the past, well, with this franchise and Arthur Blank, the owner, this guy's in trouble. Let's look at Now, Arthur Blank has had 5 previous head coaches. All right, let's go back in descending order. You had right before this guy, you had Dan Quinn, right? Dan Quinn gets whacked after 2 back-to-back 7-9 seasons. This guy, he's been his 3rd year. He was 7-2 his first 2 years. 7-9 seasons. Okay, yeah. He did spend that next year after 2 7-9 seasons, losing his first 5 games, and then he got whacked after that. Dan Quinn, by Arthur Blank. But here's the rest of the story. Before Dan Quinn went 7-9 and 7-9, and then lost his first 5 games of that next season to get whacked. Guess what? Before that, he took him to the Super Bowl. Well, not really. Before that, he took him 1 play away from going to the NFC Championship game. That was in 2017. And the year before that, he took him to the Super Bowl. Yeah, 28-3, but he took him to the Super Bowl. To the point is, you had the Super Bowl thing. You had the near NFC Championship game, and then he had the 2 consecutive 7-9 seasons, and then 0-5. This guy starts off with 7-10, 7-10. Talking about this guy Arthur Smith, 7-10, 7-10, and now losing 6 of the last 8 games. So that would be, and this current guy, he's never been to the NFC Championship game. Needless to say, he's never been to the Super Bowl. He's never been anywhere. This is his first year as an NFL head coach. But anyway, so Dan Quinn, that was coach number 5 for Arthur Smith, or Arthur Blank, rather. Let's go to coach number 4, right before Dan Quinn. That's Mike Smith. Mike Smith, he gets whacked after 2 straight losing seasons. This guy, the current guy, again, Arthur Smith, he's had 2 straight losing seasons, and he's on verge of having a 3rd. But anyway, Mike Smith, coach number 4, the guy right before Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn, the guy right before the current guy, Mike Smith, he gets whacked after going 4-12 and 6-10. And guess what? The year before 4-12 and 6-10, Mike Smith took him to the NFC Championship game. This guy Arthur Smith is not taking it. But he got whacked. And then it starts getting weird. Okay? Yeah, Bobby Petrino was full-time coach number 3 for Arthur Blank, who's been here since 2012. Okay, and you know about Bobby Petrino. he couldn't stand the Falcons so badly that before the end of his first season, he's on national television calling hogs in Arkansas, taking a job at the University of Arkansas. He wanted to get away from here so bad. So he didn't get fired. He just left. He just bolted. Okay? And then the guy before that, Jim Moore. Okay, Jim Moore. What happened to Jim Moore? Jim Moore gets fired after going 8-8, 7-8. And let me do some math here. That's better than this current guy, Arthur Smith. 7-10, 7-10. Right now, losing 6 out of 8. I mean, this is better than. So he gets fired after going 8-8 and 7-8. And before that, he's only was there for 3 years. And before that, Jim Moore takes the Falcons, another guy that took him to the NFC Championship game. Right? But he got fired after 2 losing seasons. I mean, this guy's had 2 and he's never been to the NFC Championship game. And then he lost losing 6 out of 8. I'm just saying, all right? Now, Jim Moore has some other issues. Okay, Jim Moore, in that third year, right near the end of that season, the Falcons still had a chance to make the playoffs. But he's on a Seattle radio show telling the host, boldly and proudly, that I would love to be coaching the University of Washington, my alma mater, right now, instead of the Falcons going to the playoffs. Arthur Smith, or trying to go to the playoffs. Arthur Blank didn't like that. He got rid of him. So, I mean, this is after he went to the NFC Championship game his first year, and then 8-8, 7-8, which I think is better than 7-10, 7-10 now, losing again. I'm just saying again, okay? And then the first coach that Arthur Blank had, okay, this is the guy he inherited, Dan Reeves, okay? Dan Reeves is pretty good. I mean, he took some guy named John Elway to the Super Bowl a couple times, and a few times. And then you got Dan Reeves. He took the Falcons to a Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl. He inherits Dan Reeves, Arthur Blank, in 2008. Arthur Blank, or 2002, I should say. Arthur Blank takes over in the January 2002. He gets Dan Reeves, and all Dan Reeves does with the Atlanta Falcons that first year that Arthur Blank's owning the team, he takes that team into the playoffs, and they go to Green Bay and do something that had never been done before. They win the first. They were the first visitors to win a game at the frozen tundra in Lambeau Field. Okay, but the next year, when Dan Reeves is 3-10, not even at the end of the season, he gets whacked by Arthur Blank. I mean, didn't even wait for it. He got whacked after just 1 year. But this guy is 7. So you would think that after 7-10, 7-10 again, talking about the current guy, Arthur Smith, and then it was like, they had the salary cap problems. But then going into this season, spending $130 million on defense to improve the defense, a defense that can't tackle. And then after spending 3 straight years, this regime, using the 4th on this high-fluting tight end instead of franchise quarterback, but that's another story. And then using the 8th pick the next year on a fancy wide receiver, theoretically, Drake London, other guy was Kyle Pitts. And then this year on a running back, Bijan Robinson, who they never used, the 8th pick overall. And then losing 6 out of 8 and 3 straight, you'd think that this guy would be in trouble. And given everything I just said about the past with Arthur Blank and his coaching, I mean, but then again, I'm talking logic. And with the Falcons, that's always dangerous.
This is my falsetto wicked potion with the slow pour. This is my addiction, make me wanna go for more. Pale